update on Tiffany Cross.
Yeah, it's been a while. We talked about her.
That was the one from MSNBC, the anchor, or not anchor, but commentary lady on MSNBC.
She had her own show, did she?
Yeah, who was fired. Former MSNBC host Tiffany Cross blames her firing on Tucker Carlson.
Wow.
Tucker Carlson is a nut job.
Yeah.
They think he might be the vice president. They think that's who Trump gonna name. You heard that, right, Ma? They think he gonna name Tucker Carlson.
Wow. But then I thought he had a little truth that Trump found out about him. He would pick the big head guy before Tucker.
Tucker Carlson was talking about him like a dog behind his back. Yeah, so I don't think it's going to be Tucker Carlson.
But what about the big guy you said his boyfriend?
Hannity?
Yeah.
No, he can't be. He's still working for Fox. Tiffany Cross claimed MSNBC began attacking her former show and ultimately fired her after Tucker Carlson aired criticism of her. Cross was fired from the network over a year ago, but recently commented on the timeline of her show's demise during an episode of her podcast. So she has a podcast that she launched earlier this month. That was January. According to Cross, Carlson claimed that she was attempting to start a race, you know what, W word, was the beginning of the end of her program, The Cross Connection. That was the name of her show. After this, the network did not issue a statement of the way they had for some of the white colleagues who had also been targeted by mega extremists. Instead, executives spoke to me and instructed me that I could not respond to Tucker Carlson at all. And then they began to scrutinize my show, every little thing I wrote. So once Tucker Carlson made a big stink about her, what she's saying, MSNBC started scrutinizing her and started looking at her show more closely than they was anybody else.
He brought attention to put a spotlight on her.
He put a spotlight, and you know MSNBC, they don't want anybody to say, oh, you guys are one way. So anybody that they feel like is totally one-sided on race issues, they're going to get rid of them probably. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised they ain't got rid of Joy Reid. Aren't you? Joy Reid be doing stuff. Probably not as much as Tiffany, though. So this is what she said on Tiffany Cross spills tea about split from MSNBC on Indisputable. This guy on YouTube.
And by some of the leftists who are running countries like Portland, and he called out some other municipalities that this was right after the height of Black Lives Matter. And so he said, we got to get it together, and the Republican Party is failing. Donald Trump turned the party racist. So when I was introduced, I obviously had a lot to say about that there's an unspoken rule that you're not supposed to disagree with Joe, but I didn't get that memo. Even if I had, I don't know how much attention I would pay to it. And so when it came time for me to speak, I went through very specific policies, talked about.
Now, she says something very important. You're not supposed to disagree with Joe. Remember, I said that, Joe Biden. Democrats are... And a lot of these shows or stations, MSNBC and CNN and all of that, even The View, as long as you don't say nothing negative about Joe Biden, you can say whatever you want to say.
But you know what? Let me bring.
If you're a Democrat,
but let me bring this up. Let me bring this up. Being in corporate for 25 years, I'm gonna tell you now. That's the environment because I remember. A situation happened where, because I've been there so long, I've seen our company go up and down with the leadership as far as the things that they allowed to happen with a third party was being sued, all of that. And then there was another one where we was told that we may have stolen someone's identity, look and feel of something. So in all of the negatives, ups and downs, my manager and everyone above him, they were called in and they were told what the script was.
Yep.
Everybody had the same script.
Right.
Because I challenged him. I said, well, don't you think that he had, because he wasn't my manager at first. We were team members.
Right.
And as he became elevated, his language changed.
Right.
And I said, oh, you speaking good about our leadership now? And he was like, yeah, because they had to sell it. No matter how they felt, they had to sell it. So I do understand, even in a corporate world, even in our
this is where
politicians.
Right. Now
I get what you're saying.
Okay, but this is where you
may say something negative and now you can slam.
This is where what you just said makes what I'm saying sound even better.
Okay.
That's fine in corporate.
No, it's not.
No, I'm saying if that's the corporate environment.
Okay.
But when you are supposed to be a news program, that's the corporate. You are not supposed to treat people like it's a corporation, and you're not supposed to say anything bad. This is news. Report the news. We don't do that anymore. Everything is filtered. If you Fox News, you don't like Biden. If you're on CNN, you don't like Trump. They're all filtered, and they all told to say the same thing and say the same way.
Because it's a business.
That's why I watch everybody. Right. I don't watch one side. I watch both sides.
That's fine.
Because if you're telling her that you're not supposed to say nothing bad about Joe, then you are filtering her as a reporter. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion.
But you know what? On the other side of that,
not for news. Ain't no other side.
No, well, if you're saying news commentator, now news commentator is not. People are now debating on what type of show your show is.
True.
If your show is like a Tucker Carlson, that's not news.
Exactly.
That's opinion.
Now you're right. Now that's why it's sad, but we don't get the news anymore. All we get is a commentary after a commentary after a commentary. That's it. And it depends on who they like. That's who you're going to get.
Exactly.
If you're Hannity, big giant head Hannity, who's married to Orange Nixon, then you're going to get all positive.
Yes. Even if you got to cringe your teeth like this.
So let's see.
Go ahead.
Ronald Reagan talked about George Bush and made the point that even though they may have been more articulate, their policies were just as damaging to Black folks. Well, after I got off the air, he continued to talk about it. He was very upset, apparently. And so when he left set, he was beside himself. That's how it was described to me. I was told from several reputable sources, including a talent agent, 2 anchors, and another executive at the network, that he left set and went into the president's office, the president of the network, to complain about my segment, complained that I disagreed with him, said that I called him racist, and suggested that I should not be Joy Reid's successor to get the show.
Well, damn. Spill all the.
I like him. He has a good show. He has a good show. It's called Indisputable.
Okay.
So my thing is, again, are we going to start going back to where people can be honest and open about what they think? Or are we only going to be able to say what the network tells us that we have to say, and don't say this and don't say that? And if you say this and here's the thing that I like what she said it before. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but she has said this before in another thing. Fox News allows their anchors, again, we say about the Democrats versus the Republicans, Fox News allows their commentators to say anything. They can hit low.
But they got in trouble for that.
No, Fox News.
Yeah, they got in trouble.
Hannity can say whatever he wants to say.
But they still they can't go too far because they just got in trouble.
Well,
that's why they got rid of Tucker.
Yeah, you can't say nothing that's like...
so you can only go so far.
You can only go so far.
Yeah, they even have lines where they can only cross. That's why your man... Howard Stern.
Oh, yeah.
All the mess that man was given because he couldn't be free.
Till he got on Sirius
Radio. Until he got on Sirius Radio.
Even they was trying to come at him. But then nobody signed up for Sirius because they only signed up because of him.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you got to be really good in order to get away with whatever you want to get away with.
Yep.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
All right. So that's that.
So what's she doing now? A podcast or something?
She has a podcast.
Okay.
So if y'all want to look up Tiffany Cross's podcast, then you'll know.
Okay.
And then I go right into